So, as you know, I'm Stephen O'Keefe and I'm from Vancouver. I'm really excited to talk to you all about how to listen better. But before we get into this, you must notice that I talk funny. My voice sounds different, like a robot from a video game. It's because I'm deaf, and I want to tell you what it's like to be deaf. You can't hear a freaking thing. I can't hear the birds sing. It's not all bad. I can't hear Justin Bieber. So you must be thinking, wait a moment, what is a deaf person doing telling me how to listen better? Isn't that weird? Isn't that like Donald Trump giving you haircare tips? Or a blind person telling you how to do a painting? You'll be surprised at what a deaf person can tell you and how to listen better. Did you know that hearing the sounds is a very small part of listening? You use your eyes, your head, and your heart. It's a full body experience. You need to focus and pay attention when you listen. I said I talk funny earlier, and I'm really making you exercise your listening muscles. You're already using your full body to listen to me. Now, how do you feel when people don't listen to you? You feel sad, ignored, lonely, that people don't care about what you feel, what you say doesn't matter. And how does it feel for you when people actually do listen to you? It's an awesome feeling, isn't it? When someone really listens to you, you feel included. You won't be left out. Now, if you're a great listener, it's a superpower. But it'll help you right now, when you're a teenager, when you're an adult. Many adults suck at listening. It's a real thing. If you listen, you'll be able to get along much better with your parents, your classmates, and your teachers. We'll make more friends. We'll have more influence. We'll retain much more information. Have less misunderstandings, less frustration. You won't feel left out. And when you're older, you make your life so much easier. Easier to find good jobs. Easier to sell things. Easier to find someone who'll fall in love with you. Like I said, listening is a superpower for you. And if we all listen well, the world will get along much better. Less fighting. Listening really well is really important to me. All my life I felt left out, excluded, and I've had to work extra hard to listen well. I've been at the dining room table, people are all talking. I can't follow what's going on. It's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. He says, not important, it doesn't matter. You feel so isolated. So it's so important for me to be able to listen. And if you listen, you won't feel isolated as well. Your life will be so much better. So I'm really excited to work together to become wonderful listeners. It helps you so much. The best way to learn to listen is through full body listening. You listen with your eyes, head, and your heart. The first thing is to listen with your eyes. I'm amazed that many people don't even do this because we get so much information out of this. I need to look at people to understand them. But hearing people start looking at the very people we are trying to communicate with. We are so used to looking at our phones, texting, not paying attention. You miss so much information. And how do you feel when someone isn't looking at you? It sucks when that happens. When you're looking at someone, you cannot just a powerful way. And you get so much information when you look at someone. You can read their body language. There's a lot of science behind body language, but it isn't hard to learn at all. It's all about paying attention. There's books written about it, but there's a few tips I can give you. One thing you notice, little kids are really obvious about body language. You can really read the language. I learned a lot from watching my son when he was 3 years old. If you have a little brother or sister, watch what they do and you'll learn a lot about body language from them. When I told Connor something he doesn't want to hear, I'll go like this, Connor, that's a C, and go to your room. Connor goes, no. He's covering his ears. We do the same thing as adults, as teenagers, but are not as obvious about it. What we may do is, if we hear something we don't like, we may touch a ear. We'll be very subtle about it. We think about that. Or even lying if someone is lying to you. When my son was 3, I said, Connor, did you eat that cookie? Connor went, no. He covers his mouth with both of his hands when he's lying to me. Obviously, adults don't do this, or do they? So, when people don't want to tell the truth, they may touch the side of the face, the mouth, the throat, or part of the face when they're not telling the truth. So think about that. If someone is very nervous, uncomfortable, or even scared. When my son is really scared when he was 3, like, Daddy, I'm so scared. Or he might be holding a teddy bear, he's really scared. Well, are we any different? When you're feeling awkward, don't know anybody, feeling nervous, in a social situation, you might do this. You might cross your arms like this. Or you may hold something in front of you to protect yourself without realizing it, like a textbook. So keep in mind that the body language and the words don't match. And you go with the body language. You can always tell the truth. The other part of listening with your eyes, this body language. The other important part is eye contact. It's so important for two reasons. It helps the other person feel like you focus on them. That's the most important person in the room. It's all about connection. It helps you understand what they're thinking. The eyes give away so much. The ability to read emotion in eyes is universal all over the world. But just don't overdo it. Don't do this. It looks creepy, right? You may want to look long enough to see the color of your eyes. Keep it one thing. keep in mind, this may be totally fine to look at someone in the eyes in North America and some other parts of the world. It's insulting to look at people right in the eyes. Now, getting information listening with our eyes isn't hard at all. For instance, if I'm driving and I see someone on the sidewalk go like this, ah! It's obvious what they're thinking, and it's time for me to drive off the sidewalk and back on the road. Listening with our eyes goes a long way towards connecting with that person. That's why whenever you can, when you try to see someone in real life, or instead of doing a phone call, do a video call, put down that phone, look at that person. We talked about listening with our eyes. The second part of full body listening is listening with your head. First, that means you clear your mind, be in the moment, and really pay attention to what that person is saying. It's being in the moment. Don't you love it when you're talking and your parent stops what they're doing, focuses on you, puts their phone down, really focuses on you. It's a wonderful feeling. So wouldn't it be great if you do that for somebody else? You feel so important, connected with you when you do that. Now, it's not easy to stay focused, I do agree, because we speak 150 words a minute, and we process information at 1,000 words a minute. It's easy to be distracted. You have to clear your mind of what you're feeling, whether you're thinking about how much homework you have to do, or how school sucks, or that you'd rather be playing Fortnite. That means you concentrate on one thing at a time. This will help you really receive what the other person has to say. Another important thing about listening with your head is to get rid of your labels, biases, and stereotypes. Labels and biases get in the way of listening to the person. It's getting worse in today's world. I've seen this so many times. The deaf person, people sometimes get psyched out when they want to talk to me. If the first thing they know about me is that I'm deaf, they talk to me like a total idiot. They say, "How are you, Stephen? Is everything okay?" Man, who's a handicapped person? However, when I'm out of Canada, people can understand me way better. They just think I have a cool accent. The Germans think I'm French. The French think I'm Dutch. And the Dutch have no idea where I'm from. So sometimes I pretend I'm German, and people have an easier time understanding me. Crazy, eh? No, it's amazing how our head and labels much less in helping us understand people. If they see me as a deaf person, they have a hard time understanding me. Oh, did you know that if someone is from another race or another minority, people sometimes have a harder time understanding that person from another race or a minority, even if they speak perfect English. Amazing how a head affects their ability to listen. Now, labels and biases cause all kinds of problems. It makes you underestimate what other people can do and misunderstand what they're saying. It's also the lazy way out. when you label someone, you're letting yourself off the hook. We're not taking the time to really understand where the person coming from. We're taking personal responsibility. For instance, if you label a teacher as an idiot, well, you could be part of the problem. Or maybe it's something to frustrate the teacher. Maybe the teacher's having a bad day, up all night with a sick child going through a divorce. You never know. It's the lazy way out. When you label, you make things black and white. This can be resolved by getting to know the person instead of as a label, instead of the deaf guy, stupid teacher, teacher's pet. Really look at them as a human being with needs, dreams, and desires. Think of the deaf person who's someone who happens to have a hearing impairment. We have more in common than differences. The more you get to know a person, the less likely you're going to label them, and the easier it will be to listen to them, to really understand them. Now we talked about listening with your eyes. We talked about listening with your head. The third part of listening is listen with your heart. That means we listen with respect, understanding, and empathy. Doing your best to understand the other person's point of view. In other words, stepping into their shoes. Now, this is the most powerful superpower of full body listening. This is real superpower. You can stop everything else. With listening with your eyes, with your head, but if you get listening with your heart right, you will have excellent listening skills because people know you care. So listening with your heart is thinking about where they're coming from. Maybe your parents are ignoring you, or you're being strict or stressed, or if they're extra strict, it might be because they're having a bad day. A lot going on at work and being distracted, and maybe frustrated at you because they've asked you 10 times to do the same thing. Or maybe you're scared you're going to hurt yourself. Let's say you want to go outside and play with your friends, and your parents won't let you because they're worried about you being safe. You could tell them you'll have a phone with you that'll only be in their yard, that will call them if you feel nervous. That might make them feel more comfortable, and you could have better luck convincing them. All because you're stepping into their shoes. Another thing about listening with your heart is that you try to really think about what the person really wants. Sometimes you just want to be heard without you trying to find a silver lining for them, with the bright side of things. Like if your friend is saying to you, I got kicked out of school, I got kicked out. You don't say, at least you don't have to do any homework. Your friend would yell at you. But you say, I'm sorry to hear that. You're sympathizing with them. And another thing, a lot of the time, you need to think about what the other person really wants when they're talking to you. There may be hidden meanings. What the person says may not match with what they say they mean. For instance, if your friend buys the most ugly Justin Bieber t-shirt and is wearing it, and say, hey, what do you think of my Bieber t-shirt? He's not asking you for your opinion. He's fishing for a compliment. He wanted to tell you that you like it. So, listening with your heart is the most important one. It's all about stepping in those shoes. It's not easy at times, and you have to really concentrate. but it's worth it. But to conclude, full body listening involves listening with your eyes, head, and heart. I try my best, but I always do this. The other day I was losing an argument with my wife, so I did this. I closed my eyes and I turned off my hearing aid and I went like this. And she actually brought my eyelids open and goes, "Are you listening to me?" "No, I'm not. I'm deaf and I can't hear you." So as you can see, that's so horrible listening skills. And my part horrible listening with my eyes. I didn't look at her, nor her body language. And so poor listening with my head, with fear to give her my attention, and horrible listening with my heart. That is for pure empathy. Full body listening is an easier time, and you have to really concentrate, but it's worth it. It's a real superpower. You can do so much with it. So right after we're done today, promise me, next time you're talking to somebody, you're communicating with that person, use your eyes, head, and heart. Do full body listening, exercising a superpower. My promise to you is that if you do what I've shared with you today, you now have a superpower. People want to hear what I have to say so loud and clear that it's deafening. So if a deaf guy who was not supposed to speak and stand here and talk to you about listening, you can think, if he can do this, I can too. So exercise is superpower of listening is awesome talking to you all. Now, if you have any questions, please fire them away. Was a normal day for me. It changes all the time, but nowadays I start with is I have a special alarm clock. Really, first I have man, there's the most horrible alarm clock in the world. It shakes the bed, it vibrates the bed, and everyone in the house can hear it shakes the bed. Any deep sleeper will wake up from it. But sometimes I'm afraid it doesn't work, so I have an alarm clock in my watch that vibrates. But that's how I start my day. Another thing is start in the morning because I don't wear my hearing aid all night. I like the quiet, so if I turn on the hearing aid, right in the morning is so loud, so annoying. So I refuse to turn it on until I have my coffee in the morning. And then once I wake up a little bit, I can now have it on, I can hear it. But a lot of the time I may not have it on. So sometimes my family gets my attention if I'm not wearing my hearing aid. Just turning the lights on and off. Or from something that's low, so I can feel it. So that's a lot of what my day-to-day is. And a lot of the time when I'm in the day, I do a lot of stuff in the computer, so it works out quite well for me. And I do video calls, so it really helps me. Video calls have been great because people have to really focus on me when they talk. And then sometimes when I'm going out in public, it isn't that easy sometimes because people may be talking to me, but I don't hear them sometimes. They think I'm being rude. I'm ignoring them. So there's a lot of little funny things that go on. But the one nice thing is that if I don't want to talk to somebody, I want them to shut up. All I have to do is close my eyes. Would you love to do that? How do I know when there's a foul? So that's a good question, and right now I live with my family, so they were telling me, and it's not a good thing, and I should be doing it. There's always special alarm clocks that flash lights when there's a fire and vibrate the bed. And I'll have to do that if I was ever on my own. And a lot of the times in the public or in building, there are flashing lights that tell you when there's a foul. But there's something I've got to be doing. But it's a very good question. How much can I heal being deaf? I think one of you wanted to know that. And what happened is that I often implant a hearing aid that helps me heal, but I can only hear some of the sounds. Some of the things sound a lot of this very similar to me. It's a little confusing for me sometimes. When I was around your age, around 10 or 11, 12, I would wear hearing aids to help me hear a little bit. It didn't really help. You know how? It didn't help. When my mother farted, farted, I thought it was the phone ringing or the doorbell going off. My mom's fart sounded like the doorbell ringing or the phone, the doorbell or the phone ringing. Can you believe that?